Hey guys, with Sam Kane recently announcing that he will step down as All Blacks captain, the decision ponders who will be the next All Blacks captain under Scott Robertson. Before I give you guys my opinion, make sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and definitely let me know in the comments below your All Blacks captain and who you believe Scott Robertson will select. Again, this is a tough decision. I've named three candidates that I believe will be considered for the All Blacks captain. The first being Scott Barrett. I think Scott Barrett is an incredible player. He's 30 years old. He's had 60 All Blacks appearances to his name, which is a lot, and that's pretty incredible to have. He's had 6 international tries as well, which is impressive as a lock. And, he was named Crusaders captain within 2020. So, again, he has that kind of bond with Razor immediately just because, he was the coach of the Crusaders, and he gave Scott Barrett kind of the captaincy role within 2020. So, he understands how kind of Barrett kind of leads a team, which is important to have, and kind of the I guess the insider knowledge which Scott Robertson can kind of think about when he's kind of making his decision. And again, Barrett also was a part of both the 2019 and the 2023 Rep World Cup, so he has experience from a tournament perspective as well, which is very important because when I'm looking at all three of these players here, you have to really consider have they played from the Rep World Cup, because that they haven't, that kind of goes against them, I'd say, because when you're thinking about who you're going to select as captain, and in this case Scott Robinson, who's going to select as the next All Blacks captain, you're not just thinking about who's going to be the captain for this year. You're thinking about who's going to be the captain all the way to that next World Cup in 2027. So that's kind of the way I believe Scott Robinson will think, and he'll think from a long-term approach rather than a short-term. And I think that's kind of the way you have to go about it, in my opinion. Again, moving on towards these second candidates, Artis Sevilla. I think Artis Sevilla is, again, another incredible player. He's 30 years old. He's had 78 All Blacks appearances to his name, the most out of the bunch I'm talking about here. And again, he's also had the most in terms of international tries, with 22 to his name. That's pretty remarkable. Kind of just shows right there that he's had an impact on the field for the All Blacks, and you can definitely count on him. Again, he was named Hurricanes captain within 2021. So similar towards Scott Barrett, he has experience as being a captain from a Super perspective, which is important to have. And and again, similar to Scott Barrett, he has played within both the 2019 and the 2023 Rep World Cup. So he understands kind of what it takes to kind of play at a tournament perspective, and also understands the difference between playing in a Rugby World Cup to like kind of international matches, when it's a Rugby Championship, or if it's a July International or the on International. So he understands the differences and kind of what it takes and kind of the level you have to go to for the Rugby World Cup. And again, I think Artis Sevilla has definitely demonstrated that, because last year within 2023, he was named World Player of the Year. So he definitely is recognized as one of the best in the world, and that kind of just proves it right there, being named World Player of the Year for 2023. And again, he'll be looking to kind of continue that. I know right now, he is based within Japan, and he's had kind of this season within Japan, which has officially ended. So he is, I believe, now coming back towards New Zealand following his sabbatical there. But again, it's good to see that he's kind of had that experience away. But I believe now going forward, he'll be part of the Hurricanes following into the next few seasons. So that's kind of good to see from a coaching standpoint, that you can have a captain which is going to be based within New Zealand. I think that's pretty important, because there's the arguments where Rassi is kind of brought up with Sia, if he wants to select him, he kind of likes his captain to be within South Africa. So there could be a similar stance where maybe Razor considers he only wants a captain within New Zealand. So hopefully this means that Sevilla will be staying within just within New Zealand going forward. And that's really the only thing that I have. I just said not saying going against him, but just the one thing you have to consider. Again, he's an excellent player, guys. There's nothing more to say about him. He's just been outstanding for the All Blacks, and he's definitely been in the conversation for that captaincy role. The final player that I think Robinson will consider as a captain, and kind of a candidate to be the next captain, and again, this is probably the outside shout, but I believe definitely deserves a mention, is Patrick Tuipulotu. I think he's been outstanding this season for the Blues, and again, he's been outstanding for a period of time, and he's just a player that I think is definitely going to be considered in this in terms of this role, just because he's 31 years old. He's had 43 All Blacks appearances to his name. Again, he's had 3 international tries, and he's been one of those players where he's definitely been able to experience, like Scott Barrett and like Otis Villa, kind of what it takes from an international standpoint and what it really means to be an All Blacks player. He's been able to kind of go through that. But again, he was also named as the Blues captain in 2019, so he's actually the earliest one to be named captain out of the bunch. Which is pretty impressive to see. And again, he's been really a good leader for the Blues. I mean, just talking from a Blues perspective, I think he's been one of our best players this season, actually. And actually, when you're looking at, if you're comparing between Tuipulotu and Barrett, because you can't really compare Otisavia because he's been playing within Japan. But if you're going to talk about who's had the better season, Tuipulotu's probably had the better season out of them two. So it's just kind of good to see it from a form standpoint. He has probably been the best in terms of a lock. But again, Barrett has been injured, so it's pretty unfair to kind of compare, I guess, if you want to. But again, Tuipulotu also has played within the 2019 World Cup, wasn't selected for the 2023 World Cup, however. So that could go against him in terms of how he wasn't able to kind of experience what the All Blacks went through, kind of reaching that final, because he won't probably understand. He wasn't there, at the stadium to understand kind of how they just missed out in terms of the Rep World Cup. So again, he's obviously aware of it. Not saying that he's not gutted. He's definitely be gutted. But it's one of those where Arcevia and Scott Barrett were a part of that final. So they obviously have a kind of a deeper feeling about what happened within that game and how they want to overturn that going forward. But Patrick Tuipulotu, unbelievable player. Definitely, in my mind, should be considered. And I think a player that Razor will consider, just going off what he's seen this season and how well he's kind of played for the Blues. But I think the only thing that goes against him, like I said, is really just I guess the number of All Blacks appearances, because when you're comparing to the other two, he's at the least out of the bunch, with 43 to his name, but still a great player to watch and someone that I think will be considered going into this All Black squad. And it's going to be tough, guys. It's going to be tough because I think all three of these players I've discussed definitely have are definitely worthy of being named as the next All Blacks captain. It just comes down to who Razor feels is probably best suited going forward. So it's going to be interesting, guys. It's going to be interesting, and I'm very excited to see what happens because I know that the All Blacks will announce their squad, I believe, the day after the Super B finals. So Razor still has time on his hands. I think he has 6 weeks left, if I'm not mistaken. But with that as well, he has 6 weeks to decide his All Blacks captain. So I'm looking forward to see who he selects. But we're going to finish it there, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, make sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and see you guys next time.